long, hard road through Speed Weeks here. We are getting set, ladies and gentlemen, for the 4th annual running of the NNSCRA Hersheys Cup Series Great American Race Daytona 500. 50 laps of racing on tap. 42 drivers with an opportunity to try and join the ranks of Ryan Acosta, Kyle Matthews, and Sean Gallighan as a Daytona 500 winner. We also have the possibility of a 2-time Daytona 500 champion with both Gallighan and Matthews in this field, but both on complete polar opposites of the starting grid. Sean Gallighan lines up on the pole today. Kyle Matthews, on the other hand, the defending champion of the series, is starting in the 42nd position, dead last. We've seen, though, in our two dual races here earlier on this weekend, we saw how starting at the back, not necessarily that bad a thing. You can work your way to the front in pretty quick fashion. We'll have to see if that'll be the case here today. But of course, this is the first time that we're having a race with all 42 of the Hersheys Cup Series cars on track. We basically had, about 22 cars in the Clash race. We had about 21 cars in each dual race. This is the first time we're going to have the entire pack taking the green flag in an event here. Points on the line. We could potentially see the big one break out at Daytona in this race here today. We are going to be getting set to go here, but we're going to give you your starting lineup. You can look down in the description below to see the starting lineup, but we are verbally going to give you the starting lineup today because it's a special race. It's the Daytona 500. It's like the big finale, except it starts at the beginning of the season. Sean Gallighan, he was the fastest in pole day qualifying. He starts on the pole, so 1 year after going to victory lane at this very event, he starts on point to lead us to our 4th Daytona 500 green flag. Alongside of him, fellow Brit Nathan Hudson, back with Michael Norman Motorsports, second fastest in the pole day qualifying. He also was pretty good in his dual race as well. He's going to be starting on the outside of the front row. Lining up in row 2, you've got the winners of our two dual races. Benjamin Miles moving over to Dodge with NW Racing. He won the first dual race, so he will line up in 3rd, and Dylan Young will line up in 4th as he took the checkered flag in dual race number 2. Row 3 finds Trent Dunham. We know the kind of disdain he has for the Daytona 500, but he's got himself a good qualifying position here today in 5th, alongside of the highest starting rookie, Jordan Lopez, who had to race his way into the 500 on speed, ran well in his dual race number 2, finished 2nd to Dylan Young, and that's going to put him 6th on the starting grid here today. Anthony McCrury, former Clash winner. He's never won here in a points-paying race at Daytona. He will line up in 7th on the inside of row 4 alongside of Joshua Ciculli, now over with the team of CJ Racing. Row 5 is going to contain Benjamin Miles' teammate Cody Llamas over in a Dodge now with NW Racing. Alongside of him is going to be J Bryant, teammate to Dylan Young. So we've basically got NW Racing and Young Motorsports comprising both row 2 and row 5 as Bryant will roll off from the 10th position. Row 6 will comprise of J Sydnor, now moving over to AS Racing full-time in the 38. Alongside of him, D Poteet, former chaser last season, starting in the 12th position. Next highest starting rookie will be Alex Gray. He'll roll off from the inside of row 7. Gray has been unbelievable here during Speed Weeks. We'll see how he does here in the 500. Zachary Fitzwater, former chaser last season, will line up on the outside of row 7. Seth Cole had to race his way in via the non-charter first race here at Daytona. He'll start in 15th alongside of Charles Jackson, who made his way into the 500 on speed. He'll roll off on the outside of row number 8. Row number 9 is going to be comprised of the Honda Accord of Joshua Michaels. We saw what he was able to do during the Clash when he got out in front. And J Arndt returns back to the 05 car. He starts in the 18th position. J Gardner, he is going to roll off on the inside of row number 10 alongside of Carson Gum, who was the fastest in the non-charter qualifying session. He'll roll off from 20th on the outside of row 10. Let's get the command before we continue with the starting lineup.
Drivers, start your engines!
Rookies comprise the entirety of row 11. Alex Miller going to be starting alongside of Daniel Gilbert. Daniel Gilbert, of course, the winner of the first non-charter race here at Daytona a couple of days ago. Alex Miller, in his dual race, got into a bit of a kerfuffle with Cole Baker. We'll have to see if that comes back to bite him in today's race. In row 12, we've got James McCloud, now a newly chartered ride with Tweenix Racing, making his first Daytona 500 start alongside of him. Levi McIntyre trying to find victory lane for the first time since Season 2. Tim Walch is going to be on the inside of row 13. Tim Walch, a two-time winner last season. Alongside of him, Joseph Srigley, who also was a two-time winner last season when he won back-to-back races. Chris Dodd, N Alvarise, a couple of teammates out of CJ Racing. They will comprise of row number 14. Of course, Chris Dodd, a former Hersheys Cup Series champion. Rookie Brooke Allen takes over for the retired Michael Norman, rolling off from the 29th position alongside of Charles Sandfer, who was a three-time winner in Season 2, no wins in Season 3. He's trying to find victory lane again, and he'll start on the outside of row 15. Row 16, comprised of Z Flickinger, moving now over to the number 74 Dodge Dart. Alongside of him, brand new manufacturer in the series with K Tellier, rolling off from 32nd in a Lincoln for KAB Racing Enterprises. Dallas McIntosh, he's now over with Sega Motorsports, the number 14. He'll roll off 33rd. Jessica Shelton, former winner at Daytona last season, the summer race, she rolls off on the outside of row 17. Jake Baskinger, former chaser last season, now over the number 5 for AS Racing. He'll roll off from 35th. Keith Batson in his Lincoln starts in 36th. Matt Haas won Rookie of the Year last year. He starts 37th. Blaine Keys, back with Sega Motorsports in the 42, is 38th. The rest of the field, the Mitsubishi Lancer of Brandon Gonzalez, Emmanuel Hartnett in his Toyota Camry, they're 39th and 40th. Cole Baker, former chaser last season, in 41st. And the defending champion of this series and former Daytona 500 winner, Kyle Matthews, rolls off from 42nd place. Here we go, 50 laps of racing. Who's going to raise the Daytona 500 trophy over their head at the end of it? Green flag is out. Gallighan and Hudson gets us underway. The 4th annual Daytona 500 is green. Apologize for the frame rate. It should settle itself out here at some point. We're going to go 3 wide for the lead. No, we're not. Nathan Hudson's going to actually get the top position as they're going to go 3 wide for second. Miles to the bottom. McCrury going to follow in his tire tracks as they are still 3 wide, a couple rows behind them as well. Nathan Hudson, though, moves out in front of all this mayhem behind him. Gallighan now kind of falls back a bit. Here comes Anthony McCrury, his teammate, on the bottom, looking now for what will be for the 3rd position on Benjamin Miles. Dylan Young has thoughts for the lead, moves Hudson up the hill. Dylan Young going to try to lead the first lap here today at Daytona. Oh, in trouble! Oh, Benjamin Miles just got hooked right up into the wall, and the big one has happened here on the first lap of this race. Dylan Young's going to lead, but Benjamin Miles just got flat out turned in the right rear up into the wall. Trent Dunham was collected. Looks like Gallighan was in it. I don't rightly know who else was involved, but it looked like almost the whole field. If you weren't running up in the top 5, you got involved in that. Ciculli got through. It's like maybe that was Poteet got through. I think Gray got through, Cole, Gardner, but oh man, now it's time to look and see who was involved. Cole Baker started in the final row. He's got damage. There's Emmanuel Hartnett on the apron. He might have been involved. There's the car I saw get hooked that started it all. Benjamin Miles in his Dodge Dart. Tim Walsh is in it. There's damage there to Chris Dodd. Shelton may have been in it. A lot of front-end damage on Brandon Gonzalez. Joseph Srigley also badly damaged. All these drivers are kind of question marks here. Looks like Michaels may have damage. Left side damage to rookie Brooke Allen's Taco Bell Chevrolet. Gallighan, the pole sitter, was in it. Fitzwater, Flickinger. Matt Haas has rear end damage. Front end damage on the U.S. Army Chevrolet of Blaine Keys. Carson Gums got rear end damage. Maybe easier to name off who wasn't involved. Left side damage on McIntosh. Front end damage on Matthews. Jordan Lopez has got a lot of damage. Further up there, I think that's J McCloud and J Arndt. They've got damage. Charles Jackson has a buckle on his hood. Trent Dunham is damaged. I think he was the one that was behind Benjamin Miles when Miles clobbered that outside wall, and everybody's going to come to pit road here under this caution. So Dylan Young is going to be the leader here under our first caution of the day. And what did I say? First time that we had 42 cars on the racetrack here for the Hersheys Cup Series this entire weekend. You had to know it was going to be a matter of time. I just didn't expect it was going to be on the very first lap of this race. But then again, they start this race in double wide formation, which makes it a lot easier for them to get into those 3 and 4 wide situations, which usually trigger the big wrecks taking place. So without further ado, we're going to look back at a replay of what happened. The big one has struck on the first lap of the Daytona 500. Let's start back here, heading into 3. Benjamin Miles almost looks like he was almost moving up the racetrack there, Trent Dunham thought about going 3 wide, and then I think Miles tried coming back down in front of Trent's Chevrolet, and there just wasn't room. There it gets turned down into the apron. And then right there gets hooked in the right rear. Sean Gallighan also getting a piece of that as he and Trent Dunham made contact. There's J Bryant involved. And then everybody just stacked up behind on that high side trying to slow down. Levi McIntyre got run over by Tim Walch. Did you see Joshua Michaels? And then everything just starts to filter its way down to the inside line. Nowhere for Chris Dodd to go. Garrett Sydnor's in it. McIntosh, Haas, Gonzalez, Shelton, Baskinger. There's Fitzwater there. There's Flickinger, Blaine Keys, Hartnett back there. Tell you who did a heck of a job getting through that was K Tellier in the 70. Don't think she really got involved. That was a nice piece of driving there by the former chaser last season, getting through with her Lincoln. Look at Kyle Matthews up there on the high side. I think another driver that was able to slow down and not really get involved was Charles Sandfer as well. We're going to take a couple of onboards. We'll start first with Tellier, and then we'll look at Sandfer. Riding on board with K Tellier. Let's see what she saw from her perspective. We've been given the signal 1 lap to green, but who would have expected that we were going to end up starting off this race with so many drivers back behind the wall before we'd even completed the 5th lap of this race. Dylan Young is the leader. His team got him off pit road, still out in front, so he'll restart ahead of Nathan Hudson, Dylan Poteet, Alex Gray, and Joshua Ciculli. That's your top 5, but the big story is the number of drivers that have already gone behind the wall in this Great American Race, having a pretty meager start to their 4th season of the Hersheys Cup Series. They include 28th on down, Matt Haas, as well as Charles Jackson, Blaine Keys, Joseph Srigley, Brandon Gonzalez, Chris Dodd, Emmanuel Hartnett, Benjamin Miles, Cole Baker, Dallas McIntosh, Trent Dunham, Jordan Lopez, J Bryant, Zach Flickinger, and Tim Walch. They are all behind the wall, and we haven't even gotten to the halfway point of this 500 race. We gave you the top 5 rundowns. Seth Cole restarts in 6th. Johnny Gardner 7th. L Alvarise is 8th. Cody Llamas 9th. And Anthony McCrury will restart in the top 10. So we get ready to go back green on lap 6 of 50. There's still 45 laps to go. And already we've almost got half our field back behind the wall as the big one struck. And oh my goodness, Nathan Hudson just blew up. 16 just blew up on the restart. Hudson was in the 2nd position, and just like that, he's out of it. Oh, what a heartbreak there for the Napa Chevrolet out of Michael Norman Motorsports. Started this race from the 2nd position, restarted in the 2nd position, and now, I don't know if he missed a gear or what, but whatever the case, that's a tough break for him. Dylan Young now, because of that, has a bit of a gap between himself and 2nd place, which normally at restrictor plate tracks is not a good thing. I don't know if that's going to necessarily be a good thing now. As you can see, even though those guys are battling back here, Alex Gray now to the inside of Dylan Poteet for the 2nd position. They are slowly reeling in Dylan Young. Here comes L Alvarise down on the bottom. You see that dust kicked up there in the air. That was because Nathan Hudson was down almost in the grass trying to get out of the way of everybody. After his engine expired, we'll have to wait for the official word on just exactly what went wrong under the hood of that Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. So here comes Anthony McCrury. Thought about getting to the inside of L Alvarise for 2nd. Could not make the move, at least this time. So Dylan Young, formerly out of Chicago, now a Florida native, kind of considered this one of his home tracks. Would love to be able to cap off a weekend where he went to victory lane in the second dual race with a Daytona 500 victory. So far in the Hersheys Cup Series Daytona 500, it's been won by 2 Chevrolet drivers, 1 Ford driver. 2 Chevy drivers, Ryan Acosta, Kyle Matthews, seasons 1 and 2. The Ford driver, S Gallighan, in season 3. Dylan Young trying to become the second Ford driver. Behind him there is Anthony McCrury, the season 1 Hersheys Cup Series champion. Kyle Matthews, the only driver in the Hersheys Cup Series to have both the championship and a 500 victory. McCrury today could become the second. Already has a championship in the Hersheys Cup Series, but never a Daytona 500 victory. He does have a win at Daytona. It wasn't a points-paying victory, but he did win the Clash at this track last year. Cody Llamas now working to his inside. Cody Llamas over to from a Chevrolet to a Dodge Dart now, still with NW Racing. The only representative now for NW Racing, as his teammate Benjamin Miles, we saw, was pretty much the cause of the first big wreck of the day, our only caution so far. And Cody Llamas, also a Florida native, goes to the inside of Dylan Young, and he's going to go to the lead, as I'm going to mess up on my camera controls. Johnny Gardner there, the discount tire Dodge Dart, working his way up to the front of the field now. Johnny Gardner out of Fitzwater, Australia Racing now. Back there you've also got the Tweenix Racing representative of Dylan Poteet. Poteet, a former chaser last season, was actually in the Final 4 for the championship. Talked about number of drivers moving from different teams. Well, how about J Sydnor? 38 car right there. Running very solidly up inside the top 10. Last time by was scored in the 7th position. You see he has a bit of right side damage, but that doesn't seem to be affecting him aerodynamically. Moving over to AS Racing, J Sydnor had a somewhat good non-charter season last year when he drove for CJ Racing, but now moving over full-time to AS Racing as a chartered ride, replacing the retired Carson Scott. So nice to see J Sydnor now in a full-time ride, and he's showing what he can do when he's given the opportunity. Just took away a position there from Seth Cole. That was the 8th spot, moved Seth Cole back to 9th. Right now we only have 11 drivers. No, I'm sorry, make that 12 drivers up in this lead pack. There's Daniel Gilbert, who won the non-charter race here a couple days ago. Behind him, Joshua Ciculli there in the 33, and then Alex Miller in the 75, currently scored in that 12th position. Then you got to go a ways back to get to these damaged machines. Brooke Allen, S Gallighan, Joshua Michaels, Keith Batson, Carson Gum, Zachary Fitzwater, and J Arndt. And you go a little bit further back, and there's more damaged cars in the form of Shelton and Baskinger and McCloud. Kyle Matthews all by his lonesome. Look at the damage that car had. He was running dead last when that wreck happened. That just shows you where there was just nowhere to go. I think he was kind of pinned up on the outside line. Ran to the back of somebody. It might have been Tim Walsh when that caution happened. And apparently, I thought that both K Tellier and Charles Sandfer got through the wreck without damage when we took those onboards with them. Well, apparently that's not the case. K Tellier is way back here by her lonesome, and so too is Charles Sandfer. Well, Sanford's got hood damage there, you can see now. Didn't look like he had hood damage when we were on board with him. That might have been from an incident later on. There's Levi McIntyre also way out of the draft, and he's in danger of being caught by the leaders. Cody Llamas going to catch him here on the back straightaway. So all of a sudden we're starting to see, oh, Dylan Young gets spun off the nose of Alex Gray, and Leon Alvarez is collected along with Daniel Gilbert. Oh no, don't come back up in front of traffic, and he collects Joshua Ciculli. Ciculli through the grass, he got into Gilbert. Dylan Young and Alvarez getting involved, and oh boy, don't come back up in front of anybody. The second pack better be aware that there's a damaged car up ahead of them in the form of Daniel Gilbert. Oh boy, they're going to split him, and they're going to get through it okay, and that's a big break for these drivers here, just in case they may have lost the draft. Now they'll maybe be able to catch back up. So we're under caution for the second time today. That's a tough break for Dylan Young, though. trying to maneuver their way around the slower machine of Levi McIntyre, and Dylan Young got spun, it looked like, by Alex Gray. So we'll take a look at a replay of what happened. K Llamas leads us under our second caution of the day in the Daytona 500. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to tell from this angle or not. I'll be curious to see, did Alex Gray come up into Dylan Young, or did Dylan Young actually turn down across the nose of the Zero car? Because Gray's to the inside. He's now moving up. It almost looks like Dylan Young came down across the nose of Alex Gray. I'm not certain Gray did anything wrong. Gray was down the inside line, and Dylan Young just turned down, not realizing he wasn't clear. N Alvarise getting a piece of it right there, and you saw Daniel Gilbert go up and pound that outside wall as if that car didn't have enough damage, and then car turns back up towards the wall. Ciculli nowhere to go, and he gets a piece of that. And I think there might have actually been some contact there as well for Alex Miller. I think he might have run to the back of Ciculli. All these drivers were running up inside the top 15 at the time. Alvarise, Young, Gilbert, Ciculli, and Miller. Boy. Seems to be a race of attrition. We haven't even reached the halfway point. We're already working our second caution of the day here at Daytona. But hey, it's the Great American Race. Everybody's going to be trying to drive aggressively as if it's the last lap every single time we make a circuit around this 2.5-mile superspeedway. So, can't say I'm surprised at this at all, but certainly not the kind of end result you want to see with a lot of damaged cars out there on track. Well, leastwise, we got ourselves a bit of a green flag run in that time. But now we're going to get ready for the restart on lap 18 of 50. K Llamas will restart as the leader. Everybody did come to pit road under that caution. Everybody taking the opportunity to get fresh rubbers, fill it up with fuel. Anthony McCrury lines up in second. Seth Cole in third. Fourth, J Gardner. Alex Miller in fifth. Sixth will be D Poteet. Seventh, S Gallighan. Eighth, now B Allan. Z Fitzwater ninth, and Alex Gray came out in 10th. It'll be interesting to see if drivers that were back in that second pack that are now up here in the lead pack, like Gallighan, Allen, Fitzwater, if they'll be able to stay up here in the lead pack now. You see Levi McIntyre lined up in the inside line. He is a lap down, and he will restart 24th. And out of the race, we do have two drivers that retired due to that wreck that took place. Daniel Gilbert is one, the other one being Joshua Ciculli. Officially a camshaft issue for Nathan Hudson, so that tells me he didn't get up through the gears correctly on that restart. Might have missed a gear. So tough break for him. We have 24 cars on the track, 23 of them on the lead lap. There was one car that was back on the apron there, and that is K Batson. 39 car you can see there, the Texaco Haviland Lincoln. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he is going to be coming to pit road here, it looks like, under this restart. Getting ready to go back green. Drivers that also got involved in that incident, like Dylan Young and others. Dylan Young restarts in 16th place. N Alvarise will restart back in 22nd. Green flag back out. That inside line getting held up by the slower machine of Levi McIntyre. K Llamas and Anthony McCurry, though, able to get around easily on the high side. Now Seth Cole forges a hold of the inside line. D Poteet going to follow him there. Looks like Allen and Gallighan are up to speed. So this caution may have been a godsend for them. Almost wondered if maybe they lost the draft after we ended up having that issue with Nathan Hudson on the start. Right now, though, it's a 5-car breakaway at the front. A couple of Dodge Darts, a Toyota Camry, a Ford Fusion, and a Chevrolet. If these guys continue to race, that might end up bringing Alex Gray and B Allan, who have now cleared Levi McIntyre, up into this group as well. N Poteet to the inside for the race lead. You look up in this group of this top 5, and only 2 of them were former chasers last season, Poteet and K Llamas. J Gardner now going to look to the inside of K Llamas for the second position, so a battle between a couple of Dodge Darts, and indeed B Allan has caught up to this group now, as has Alex Gray, so a couple of rookies. B Allan, a lot of people looking at as possibly being the Rookie of the Year for this season, much in the same category as Cole Baker was 2 seasons ago, Matt Haas was last season. The fact that it was one of the few rookies that was actually a chartered ride and was guaranteed to make every single race. Brooke Allen wants more than that. She wants to start off her career with a Daytona 500 victory. Let's not forget, Brooke Allen has a lot of success here in the NSCRA. Runner-up finisher last season in the Pizza Hut X Series to Benny Watson. So you cannot count her out, and she's looking really good. We know Michael Norman Motorsports puts a lot of store into their restrictor plate program. I mean, we saw the performance Nathan Hudson had back in the Daytona 500 qualifying second for the Great American Race. I mean, obviously right now, Michael Norman Motorsports not exactly having the best of 500s with some of their other drivers. Tim Walsh out of the race, Nathan Hudson, mechanical issue, but regardless, they do a lot of work on their super speedway cars. This I know, and Brooke Allen showing the result of it. Dylan Poteet out in front showing the way. He's got a bit of a gap here, and I kind of thought that gap was going to close up, but it hasn't really closed up at the moment. Seth Cole and Cody Llamas battling for that second position. And that's allowing Dylan Poteet to enjoy a bit of breathing room by about maybe 3-4 car lengths out in front at the moment. But if these guys behind him start getting lined up, they're going to reel Dylan Poteet in pretty doggone quick. Sounds like they may be encountering traffic once again. That is Keith Batson, who had to make an unscheduled pit stop, came to the pit lane under that restart when the pace car came down to pit road. Keith Batson followed it, still trying to get word of what exactly went on there. But as a result, Batson's now going to find himself potentially falling a lap down to the leader, unless he might actually be a lap down already. No, he's not. He's actually on the tail end of the lead lap, but that may not last long because Dylan Poteet, Cody Llamas, and company, they are coming quick. Right now, we were seeing a number of the non-chartered drivers working their way up here into the front of the field. We saw Alex Miller for a brief moment up here, but now it seems like the only 2 drivers right at this moment that are the non-chartered rides having a good run are Seth Cole in that 79 and Alex Gray in the 0. Both of whom had to race their way into the 500 in the non-charter race here at Daytona. Seth Cole ended up finishing, I believe it was second to Daniel Gilbert. Alex Gray finished, I want to say, 4th. Apologize for my dogs barking. Dylan Poteet now clearing Keith Batson, as did Cody Llamas. Looks like a little bit of difficulty, though, for some other drivers there. Alex Gray kind of got held up, as did Anthony McCrury, and now Poteet and Llamas going to set up shop by themselves up at the front of the field. And now with this thing starting to look like it might go into a long green flag run, this could potentially bring about the question, the conversation of potential green flag pit stops. Well, Batson appears to be up to speed. I thought Batson was off the pace, but now that he's been able to merge with this lead group, he's somewhat up to speed there in that Lincoln. And this is actually good for Batson and being able to merge here with a group of cars, because we saw before we had our second caution come out, there were a lot of stragglers. Well, if there are stragglers again, Batson might be able to move by those particular drivers for position. There's Kyle Matthews running by his lonesome. K Tellier trying to keep up with this group of Alvarise and Shelton, Sandfer, Fitzwater, and Arndt. There's McCloud with Miller, Gum, a couple of teammates there at Red Dragon Motorsports. Levi McIntyre. They're bypassing that lap machine. Dylan Young back here, Sean Gallighan. Garrett Sydnor back here now. I don't know why Sydnor's back here. He appeared to be up to speed before. Joshua Michaels and J Baskinger leading this group. And then there's our lead group. So we've got a total of 7 lead lap cars in this group, as well as the lap machine of Keith Batson, and then that second group is 8th on back, led by Jake Baskinger. Poteet up to the high line on Kyle Matthews. Anthony McCrury follows him there. Seth Cole, though, got held up behind Kyle Matthews, and now top two are going to start breaking away again. So it seems like Dylan Poteet and one other always seem to do well with the slower machines, and everybody else just gets stacked up behind them. Now Seth Cole and Cody Llamas, Brooke Allen trying to get by on the high side. K Batson, Alex Gray on the bottom as Johnny Gardner still held up there. Trying to remember back too, I could be wrong, but I believe that 2 seasons ago, in that Hersheys Cup Series Daytona 500 race, Johnny Gardner actually finished in the top 10. He was, I believe at the time, a non-chartered ride, but I'm almost certain he ended up finishing top 10 in the second annual Great American Race. So, looking for his second career top 10 finish in the Daytona 500 in the Hersheys Cup Series, as Poteet still continues to show the way. Now Anthony McCrury there in second. And those two probably not in the best position right now because they've got a pack of cars behind them in the form of Cole, Llamas, Lapcar, Batson, and Alex Gray. They are going to reel them in quite shortly. Brooke Allen trying to keep touch with those 4. I don't know if Brooke's going to be able to or not. Trying to stay in the draft there is the Taco Bell Chevrolet. She might be able to catch up. Well, now they've gotten single file. When they were racing, she had a better chance of catching up, but now I don't know. And now here comes Cody Llamas, full head of steam. He's caught McCrury with the help of the lap car of Keith Batson and Seth Cole, and now Cody Llamas going to go back to work. Trying to take second place away from McCrury. Seth Cole sticks his Toyota Camry down low 3 wide. Is he there? Yes, he is. And that's again what Poteet wants to see out of his rearview mirror, is them battling for second, because as they continue to battle amongst themselves for that runner-up spot, that allows Poteet to continue to hold the gap he currently has over them. And look at this. Keith Batson, big push to Cody Llamas on the outside line down the back straightaway, and Cody will clear Seth Cole for the second spot. Oh, wait a minute, we're going to have pit stops? Cody's moving up like Poteet's signaling he's coming to pit road. No. I guess he just wanted to get that run on the high side. Thought Poteet might be coming to pit lane. Oh, we're at a caution. Caution's out. We've got an incident that took place here on the front straightaway, it looks like, heading into 1. Third caution of the day, waving here in the Great American Race. I believe K Tellier beat them to the line, so I think K Tellier is still actually on the lead lap, so a timely caution for her. And we are indeed under caution for the second time, and it looks like it may have involved J Baskinger in the 5, who was running up almost, well, he was either in or just outside of the top 10. And Baskinger now way back here, and he now has damage on his machine as well. So it looks like Jake Baskinger, the Auto Trader Chevrolet, the reason for this third caution. The smoke and skid marks over in the entrance of turn number 1. Let's take a look and see what happened as Dylan Poteet leads us under the caution with about 20 laps to go. Now, I know the incident was over in turn 1, but we got to look at this side of turn 4. Dylan Young hooks Carson Gum. And then watch this. Carson Gum trying to come back up. They are 4 wide as a result. And watch this as they're trying to get around Levi McIntyre. Baskinger literally rubbing doors with Joshua Michaels. And then I think he's going to try and fit down in front of Carson Gum. He's not clear. Gum gets him in the left rear. Spins him through the grass. And then right back up the racetrack. Oh, right up into the driver's side door of Dylan Young. Dylan Young nowhere to go, and 2 of them going to go around for a spin. I think Carson Gum's going to be able to get through. He has to go to the grass, but boy, it looked like it was a lot worse than that, actually, with all the smoke that was lingering there from the exit of the tri-oval over into 1. But that's what happened there. 4 wide they tried here at Daytona. That is not a good decision, especially in the tri-oval, which seems to be one of the tightest spots on this racetrack. So tough break there for Baskinger. He was battling, as I said, up inside the top 10, around the 10th, 11th position. And Dylan Young, a bad day goes worse for him as he gets involved innocently as the 5 car spins out. So that's what put us under the caution. Let's go back for the restart with less than 20 laps to go here in the Great American Race. Well, we've gotten the signal 1 lap to green. When we go back green, it'll be 17 laps remaining in this event. We do have a couple more drivers behind the wall worth noting. They include J McCloud and Jessica Shelton. They have both called it a day. Their car is just too badly damaged and not up to speed, so they have retired from the race. We did end up having, before we came back, Alex Gray deciding to stay out an extra lap, but he has now come to pit road to get service on his machines, so getting at least a valuable bonus point for leading a lap. Alex Gray now turns the lead over to Anthony McCrury, whose team was fastest on pit road. He will restart ahead of Cody Llamas. Cody Llamas in second. Dylan Poteet, who came down pit road as the race leader, will now restart in the third position. Alex Gray will be scored in fourth. Actually, no, he will not. He was scored in fourth last time before making his pit stop, so it will actually be, I believe, Seth Cole in fourth. Fifth will be Brooke Allen. Sixth will be Johnny Gardner. L Alvarise, Joshua Michaels, Alex Miller. That is going to be, I believe, the top 10. Nope, Miller in ninth, and Gallighan will actually be in 10th. Levi McIntyre, Cody Llamas, they are lap machines. They will restart on the inside line. Now we have a total of 20 cars on the lead lap, 22 cars running, and there you see Keith Batson is on the tail end of the lead lap as he decided not to come to pit road. So he's hoping for a quick caution to be able to be ahead of the leader, stay on the lead lap as the green flag is back out. And McCrury's kind of caught there between a rock and a hard place. Look at this, nice crossover down. Can he get in front of Kyle Matthews? Yes, he can. So Anthony McCrury down the bottom lane, trying to get by. Look at Cody Llamas, Seth Cole, Johnny Gardner trying something on the outside line with Keith Batson. Question is, who's going to be able to get clear of the traffic when we get down here into 3? McCrury going to go to the inside of McIntyre. Look at Cody Llamas. Oh, are they going to go 4 wide into turn number 3? Oh, good Lord, they are. Oh, no, don't do that. Oh, they settled it out to 3 wide. They were 4 wide for a brief moment, but my goodness, that was close. Look at now Cody Llamas and Johnny Gardner trying to go up the middle as McCrury clears himself of the mayhem behind him. Oh, this is not good back here. This is a hornet's nest. And you'd think they were racing like crazy. Oh, someone blew up! Someone just blew up! That's Charles Sandfer has blown up! Charles Sandfer in the Valvoline Chevrolet has now blown his engine. I think everyone was able to get around him. No, he wrecked it. Are we under caution? We're not under caution. Sandfer spun. He must have had contact with somebody, but apparently they kept it together. There is no yellow flag out. We are still green. That's the second mechanical issue we've had here today. Nathan Hudson, the first one, and now Charles Sandfer falls prey to an engine mechanical error. As Anthony McCrury now might want to look in his rearview mirror because here comes a pack of hungry lions. All of a sudden, we've got a lot of new players up here in this group. Players we didn't see before. Brooke Allen is now back up here. So too is Joshua Michaels, Sean Gallighan, Alex Miller, Carson Gum, Dylan Young. They're all starting to catch up here. So we may end up having ourselves a brand new race for this victory. How about K Tellier? Just barely stayed on the lead lap when that caution came out. And there she is. She's currently running in the, where they got her score, 12th position. What a comeback for that driver. There you see the smoke lingering as Charles Sandfer has still not yet been able to make his way to pit road, laying down a lot of fluid there on the apron. That could come into play later on here. Curry still showing the way. Cody Llamas in second. Battle is on for third between Johnny Gardner and the rookie Brooke Allen. Dylan Poteet looking to see what line's going to move there. Then you've got the lap machine of Levi McIntyre as well as the lap machine of Keith Batson. They're actually battling for position right now, are those two. So as the battle for the lead goes on, the battle is on between McIntyre and Batson. That would be, I think, for 20th? 19th, actually, and it may be now for 18th, as now we've got word that Zachary Fitzwater has just retired from the race. Starting to see drivers just trying to make it to the end, just can't do it. They're falling like exhausted bats. We saw McCloud and Shelton. They retired before the restart. Fitzwater now calling it a day. Sandfer with an engine failure. Now he's out. It's certainly been a race of attrition here at Daytona. But then again, did we expect anything less? Curry showing the way, and now rookie Brooke Allen is leading the charge with Johnny Gardner behind her. The lap car of Batson. Seth Cole there as well. Can they catch McCrury down the back straightaway? They got to keep themselves lined up. And now Gardner steps out of line for second place, so that's going to allow McCrury a little bit of a reprieve just for the moment. Maybe not. Brooke Allen going to be able to tuck back down in front of Johnny Gardner, and she's only about a car length off the back bumper of the dishonored Ford Fusion. Seth Cole Baker Motorsports trying to go for a second straight season where they sit on the pole and win the race. Last year it was Cole Baker on the pole position. Gallighan closed the deal with the win. This year, Gallighan was on the pole position. Can McCrury close it down with a victory in the 500? And now the top 5 have all cleared lap traffic. McCrury, Allen, Gardner, Cole, and Poteet. Then it's the lap machine of Batson, and then K Llamas back there. Don't count him out. He's been up front all day long, and he's right there in that 6th position. Maybe waiting for something to happen as Brooke Allen continues to have Johnny Gardner as her wingman as they try and reel in Anthony McCurry's Ford Fusion. How about Joshua Michaels? What a run he's had. I mean, we haven't really talked much about him. He got involved in the first incident. There he is, solidly running in that 7th position. This is the battle for getting inside the top 10. This is for 8th on back through 11th right now. No, I'm sorry, 8th on back through 12th, I should say. Dylan Young, Carson Gum, Alex Miller, Sean Gallighan, and K Tellier all up here in this group. Let's get back up to the front. Here comes K Llamas. K Llamas with a big head of steam. Trying to get by Brooke Allen. That would be, I think, for the 4th position, as now Seth Cole has moved into 3rd. Now pushing Johnny Gardner as they still are chasing Anthony McCrury. And now I believe when that caution came out, I think that's now put us within the fuel window. Everybody came to pit road as far as the leaders. I think they can make it on fuel now, so it's just down to who's going to be in the right place at the right time. Traffic could come into play. That is J Arndt just up ahead, the Zaxby's Chevrolet out of AS Racing, who might play a factor. No, not at least for Anthony McCrury. And Seth Cole, again, that's the 2nd time that I've seen him have difficulty getting around a slower machine. And now they're going to stick him 3 wide, stick J Arndt there in the middle, as Johnny Gardner was able to get by, but he didn't have anybody behind him to help push him up to the back bumper of Anthony McCrury, at least not yet. Seth Cole is now cleared. Looked like Keith Batson got around, so those two might be able to form up and work together. K Llamas now has Dylan Poteet helping him, and look here, Joshua Michaels just moved by Brooke Allen. That was a battle for 6th. Now give it to the Honda Accord. And here's the battle between Batson and McIntyre, which now is officially for the 17th position, as they actually picked up a spot, getting by J Arndt. So, as things are standing, Batson and McIntyre could finish this race a lap down, but in the top 15. McCrury still with Gardner in tow, and then here come a couple of good buddies working against Seth Cole. Dylan Poteet was helping K Llamas. It's Chevy, Dodge, Toyota, and now they all got to fall back in line. 79, 48, 31 entering into turn number 3, as none of them had drafting partners down that back straightaway. It'll be 8 laps to go when McCrury hits the stripe. Can McCrury close the deal, or does anybody have anything for him? Can they get themselves formulated up, put their differences aside, and all aim for one common goal, trying to have a chance of battling for the lead and potentially the win in the Great American Race? We've had 3 cautions so far today. Obviously, our first caution may be the biggest factor into this outcome, taking out a number of drivers, 14 to be exact. We've had mechanical issues. It's been a crazy day here at Daytona, but it is quickly drawing to a close. And now K Llamas hooking up with fellow Dodge Dart Johnny Gardner. Can those two do something together? No, Llamas going to stick Gardner on the outside line. K Llamas going to go for the 2nd position. Let's also keep in mind, I mean, we haven't really talked about it, but we've had the stage racing today. You've seen every time that they have completed a stage, which was 15 laps, and now this final 20 laps, those drivers that were in the top 10 get bonus points. Also keep in mind, too, a win here in the Daytona 500 could have you a locked up spot in the chase for the championship. Sean Gallighan had a victory last season. The 500 was not able to make the chase, though, so it's not a guarantee, but it is a possibility. Oh, now they're getting formed up. Llamas, Cole, Poteet, Allen. And now Poteet steps out of line. That's on Seth Cole, but that doesn't hurt Cody Llamas. Cody going to use the drafting help still of the 31 down low and the 79 up high to get himself up to McCrury. And now Seth Cole gets left way out to dry on the high line. He's going to fall from third all the way back maybe to the 7th position. Brooke Allen now ducks out of line to the inside. And it's so interesting, you look up here, there are no teammates. Nobody to work with. McCrury has no teammates, neither does Llamas, Allen, Poteet, Michaels, Gardner, Seth Cole. They don't have any teammates up here. They've got, their friends are where they find them, basically. They got to make alliances. They got to be delegations here. There's Alex Gray, the rookie in the 0. Stayed out, led a lap, but that obviously really hurt him. He got caught back in traffic, and now that's going to cost him. Looks like he may finish this race a lap down. They're going to catch him when they get down here into 1. Question is, where's McCrury going to go? Oh, he's going to get caught behind Alex Gray, as is Brooke Allen. Here comes Cody Llamas around the outside line. Is he going to be able to get the lead down the back straightaway? Oh, McCrury steps out, so does Brooke Allen. Here comes Brooke Allen for the race lead on McCrury. Who's going to have the drafting help? Michaels in the middle. Allen has no drafting help. McCrury will take the spot. They're 3 wide for second. McCrury keeps the spot. Allen's going to move into second place with Gardner and Seth Cole on that inside line. This time by, it's a total of 4 laps to go in the Great American Race. Another slow car up ahead. That is L Alvarise in the Aaron's Dream Machine. Will McCrury have as much difficulty getting around him as he did getting around, oh boy, around Alex Gray? He is having trouble. Here goes Brooke Allen trying to get a run on the outside line. Alvarise going to move up and block that lane. Here comes Johnny Gardner. Seth Cole drafting help. They're going to have a big run here into 3. Anthony McCrury could be in trouble. There goes his lead. Gardner to the point. Seth Cole into second. Dylan Poteet will more than likely move into third as we are getting into the closing stages of this race. Oh, Alex Gray down there on the apron. And Cody Llamas is coming to pit road. I thought they were good to go on fuel. Maybe they're not. 3 laps to go. Seth Cole now to the top position. He led that lap. Now the question, can they make it on fuel? We saw Dylan Young back in the second dual race. He risked it. He stayed out. He went all the way. Won that dual race on fuel strategy. Will the 500 be won on fuel strategy here today? Poteet now to the top position. We're going to have to see, has anybody got their hand out the left side window, waving that indicating they're coming to pit road? Or can they all make it for a little more than 2 more laps? McCrury's going up. That's because Poteet's coming to pit lane. Seth Cole is in as well. Poteet can't make it. Seth Cole can't make it. Batson also coming in. That basically, I think, hands over a top 15 finish to Levi McIntyre, but that's only if McIntyre can win it, or can get it to the end. I think we're still green. I thought I might have seen the caution come out. I hope I didn't see the caution come out. No, I didn't. We're still green. McCrury showing the way. Gardner is second. Brooke Allen is third. 4th place is Joshua Michaels. Can they make it on fuel? McCrury way out in front. He's been out in front for a good portion of this segment, so he may not have the best fuel mileage. And he is not coming to pit road. He'll see the white flag, but he also will see Johnny Gardner and Brooke Allen looming large in his rearview mirror. Can McCrury make it? We already mentioned that Kyle Matthews is the only driver so far to hold a championship and a Daytona 500 victory. McCrury won the championship back in season 1. He would love to be able to win the 500 as well and join Kyle Matthews in that column with that accolade. Brooke Allen moves to second. Alex Gray, will he be willing to push a fellow rookie to the 500 win? They may be too little too late. There's about 3 car lengths they got to make up here in turn 3. Johnny Gardner now moves Alex Gray out of the way. That is going to do it. McCrury, as long as he's got the fuel to get through the tri-oval, he'll win this thing. Out of turn 4 for the final time. Seth Cole Baker Motorsports sweep Daytona for the 2nd straight season. This time it's McCrury taking the checkered flag in the Great American Race Daytona 500. As stated last season, Cole Baker was on the pole, Gallighan won the 500. This season, Gallighan on pole, McCrury wins the 500. Talked about Michael Norman Motorsports and their restrictor plate program. How about Seth Cole Baker Motorsports? Second straight season, their Ford Fusions have swept the pole and the win in the Great American Race, and this time it's Anthony McCrury who joins Kyle Matthews now as the only drivers to hold both a championship in the Hersheys Cup Series as well as a Hersheys Cup Series Daytona 500 victory. We stated he has a trip to victory lane here at Daytona, but it was the non-points clash at Daytona last season. He's got himself a points-paying win now, and maybe, just maybe, Anthony McCrury will get himself back into the chase for the championship with the win he got here today. Well, it took us 50 laps and a whole lot of wrecking to get here, but end result is the end result. McCrury with the win. Brooke Allen, what a performance by that rookie. I mean, we've already stated that she looks like she might be one of the favorites to win Rookie of the Year this year. But my goodness, what a statement of second place for her. Johnny Gardner, I believe this is his second career top 10 finish in a Hersheys Cup Series Daytona 500 race. He'll get third. Joshua Michaels, that's a comeback story in itself, in fourth place. And how about Dylan Young? We saw him at the front early. He ended up getting wrecked after they had trouble getting around a slower machine. Was able to battle back for a fifth place finish. Alex Miller is the second highest finishing rookie. He's actually the highest finishing non-charter driver in this race in sixth. K Tellier will finish in seventh. She was almost a lap down at one point, but got that timely caution. Carson Gum, how about the Red Dragon Motorsports rookies? Sixth and eighth for those two. Sean Gallighan, after winning this race a year ago, gets a top 10 today in ninth. And Seth Cole will finish in the 10th position after having to come to pit road in the closing stages, as did Cody Llamas and Dylan Poteet. They'll get 11th and 12th place. Alex Gray finished the first car lap down in 13th. Levi McIntyre battled back for 14th. Leon Alvarise 15th. 16th was J Arndt. Teammate Garrett Sydnor in 17th. Baskinger 18th. So all the AS racing cars 16th, 17th, 18th, all behind each other. Keith Batson finished 19th, and Kyle Matthews was the last car to finish this race in the 20th position. Everybody else finished out of the race, whether it was due to wreck damage, mechanical issues, what have you, as we worked 3 cautions during the course of this race. So, these drivers way down here, like Cole Baker, McIntosh, Dunham, Bryant, Flickinger, Walsh, they're going to really be hoping for a good run next week at Rockingham, UK. But Anthony McCrury will be heading into that race more than likely as the points leader, unless we ended up having somebody be able to top him based off the bonus points in these stage races. But McCrury will have 10 bonus points, at least for winning the final stage here, taking the checkered flag in the Daytona 500. That is going to do it. What a long weekend it has been with Speed Weeks. Hope you've enjoyed every bit of it, and hope you enjoyed today's cap-off in the Daytona 500. If you did, be sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've shown you your full finishing results. Up next are your point standings and your rookie points heading into our second race of the season for both the Pizza Hut X Series and the Hersheys Cup Series. We're going international to Rockingham, UK for our second race of the year. I've been Seth Cole. Thanks for tuning in. You've been watching a production of the SRA, offline racing at its best. So long from Daytona.